Something's bothering me and I need to have a rant. I'll tell you what it is. E-bikes. E-bikes are bothering me. And I'm going to change the name to LBI bikes. Lazy bone idle bikes. So I'm talking about e-bikes what are pedal assist. So you pedal them. I'm not talking about electric bikes what are just like a little motorbike. I'm talking about pedal assist e-bikes where people think they're mountain biking, but what they're doing is they've got an electric motor helping them. They're not called e-bikes anymore. In my eyes, they're called LBI bikes. Lazy bone idle bikes. My mate Rick bought one. And here, Brendan, have a go with this. I just had a go in his garden, quite a big garden. It's fun, but it's not a mountain bike to get fit on. If you buy an e-bike, you're lazy. So Rick bought a mountain bike. Me and Rick used to go mountain biking. We used to ride a few miles down to this pub and ride back. It was good. We were at the side of each other, both using the same machine. It was good. He's bought an e-bike. He bought an e-bike. Sorry, LBI bike. Lazy bone idle bike. I've not been riding with him since. My mate Lee. I met him in Peak District mountain biking on a big Facebook group. He run a mountain bike. I think it was a double suspension one. You've got to put the effort in. We've got to use human muscles and cardiovascular system to ride these bikes. It's good. We're getting fit, we're getting strong, we're going through hardship. Lee said, Brendan, do you want to ride to Doncaster for a bike ride? I said, yeah, let's go. I said, anyway, I bought a new bike, did I tell you? I says, no. Says, what you got? Oh, it's an e-bike. LBI bike, lazy bone idle bike. I says, what, and you want me to ride outside of you? All the way to Doncaster, 10 miles, and you're on your LBI bike? Says, not a prayer. What? I'll only go steady. I'm not riding on a manual kinetic bike like mine with an e-bike who's, I'll be gasping for breath, where they're just pedal assist on highest settings so they don't have to do anything. It's lazy. If you buy an e-bike, you're lazy. Right, there's a few exceptions, but before I get to the exceptions, another guy, Eddie, you know who you are. He put something on the other day. Bought his partner an e-bike, went on it. Like, oh, I might buy one of these. Eddie, if you buy one, you're lazy. It's an LBI bike, lazy bone idle bike. Eddie's in his late 50s. He goes to the boxing gym. He's fit, especially for his age, and he's thinking about buying an e-bike. You're lazy. If you're buying an e-bike, you're lazy. Rick's that lazy. He bought an e-bike to be lazy, and he's that lazy he doesn't even go out on his e-bike. That's these sort of people who buy e-bikes. It's laziness. It's I'm not going out riding with anybody riding e-bikes. Oh no, sorry, these are the exceptions. So on these Facebook groups, and I think where I met Lee in the Peak District with the Facebook groups, I think that's where I met Alan. At the time when we all met on this, I think there were 10 or 12 of us on this Facebook group. Alan was 70 years old and he was on an e-bike. I fully support Alan, Steve. I fully support Alan being on his e-bike in the Peak District at 70 years old. We were going up some monstrous hills, we were covering some distance, sometimes at some pace. Alan at 70 years old was out and about with all the lads. It's fantastic. His bike had that much power as an e-bike that when he was pedaling once, it wheel spun and threw him off. So it was delivering power like a motorbike, and it threw him off, and I was behind him, and I picked him up and helped him on his way. And then we went down this really steep hill. This is nothing to do with an e-bike, it was just Alan, and he fell off again down this hill and broke his glasses or his helmet. And I picked him up again, and me and Alan's become mates. So I fully support Alan having an e-bike. Another thing I support if you have an e-bike is if you've got a medical condition and you can't go mountain biking without like chronic arthritis or many different things. But the thing that comes into an illness, laziness and bone idleness, is not an illness. But if you've got a serious medical condition where you need to use an e-bike, no matter what age, I support it. If you're retired in the national retirement age, what's that, 67 now? It'll be about 100 around that age. Anyway, I support it. I don't mean retiring at 50. I'm talking if you're retired at the national age, and if, let's say, 65 onwards, I support you having an e-bike. What else do I support you having an e-bike? If it's your transport for your job, yep, you can have an e-bike in my eyes. What else? What else do I support? Riding to work. I suppose that can have a green light. If you've got an e-bike and you're riding to work, I'm going to give that one a green light too. But anybody else trying to get fit and say, anybody below 65 years old trying to get fit, especially below 50 and especially below 40, say, no, I'm getting an e-bike, I just want to get into it steady. You're bone idle and you're lazy. If you want to get into it steady, buy a fully mechanised kinetic mountain bike like everyone else has got and go on a flat route. That's how you get into it steady. Go on a flat route, go in lower gear and just ride steady. That's how you get into it steady. Not spending thousands on an electric milk float bike because you're lazy. That's all it is, bone idleness. All these electric things are just going to create a generation of lazy people. So anyway, that's my rant over. Eddie, if you buy one, you're lazy. Lee, you're lazy for owning one, even though I think you've sold it. Rick, you're lazy for not going on your lazy bike. And then there's another thing. I'm watching a YouTube video about this guy on a solar, he calls it a solar power motorbike, scooter. But really, it's an electric scooter. And he was travelling from the south coast of England all the way to Italy. And he was going to give this bike to his father-in-law. And he made this little trailer, which were pathetic. And he was towing these solar panels. And it were like waiting 6-7 hours in these fields in France and not getting enough charge. And it was the best advertisement for why you don't do things solar, why you don't get a solar bike. And he's calling every video a solar bike. No, it's not a solar bike, because you end up going into Starbucks and charging your batteries there. You end up going into different places and plugging into there, even if they didn't know in these cafes you were stealing their electric. Even though you're a vegan and you talk about solar, don't be all righteous just by using these words, vegan and solar, and then stealing people's electric. It don't give you the right. Oh, you've opened a can of worms now. Anyway, that was the first video. We got to Italy. I watched them all. I think the YouTube channel's called Fun with Louis. He's got a few million subscribers. He's done loads of travel trips. I haven't watched them all. I only watched this electric motorbike series. His second video, he went from Italy to Bulgaria to drop the bike off somewhere. And it was that much of a disaster carrying all these solar panels and all these battery packs that he got his dad to follow him in a Tesla. And this is the other bit. Solar power annoys me. Solar cars, electric cars. So his dad, so every video on this second leg of this trip was called riding a solar powered scooter 1,000 miles or 1,000 kilometers. No, you didn't. Your own electric scooter, what you plugged into your dad's Tesla, what your dad plugged into the grid, and your dad was charging his Tesla from coal-fired power stations. You can't call yourself solar. You can't act all righteous using them words. Keep your vegan meals. Keep your solar powered name away from electric bikes, because solar is the worst. It's the worst technology for transport. Sorry to say this, but fossil fuels are the best. Stop cutting trees down. If you want to be all eco-friendly, stop cutting trees down. Plant more trees than you cut down. That's the problem. There's more vehicles coming on the road. You could say fossil fuel vehicles, diesel, petrol, they produce a lot of pollutants into the atmosphere. Do you know how much pollutants making electric vehicles put into the atmosphere? The batteries, the footprint what electric vehicles have on this world, compared to fossil fuel vehicles, you're not magically curing pollution by having an electric vehicle. You're causing a lot of pollution in that. So anyway, that's another rant. I've opened 2 cans of worms now. I thought I was going to have a calm drive home. So that video of him charging these solar panels charging these batteries through solar panels in Bulgaria and Romania and wherever, Slovenia, it was the best ever advert of why not to get a solar powered anything. It was just painful to watch. Listen to that diesel engine. If it runs out, I put some diesel in it. I don't have to wait for clouds to move. Anyway, I've had my rant, or 2 rants. Thanks for listening. Don't buy an e-bike. Don't be lazy and bone idle. See you later.